Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining. I am Heather Collister. I am a relationship coach and I am also a licensed marriage and family therapist. However, this is my coaching side of things. This is not therapy, so I always have to do my disclaimer. If you need therapy, please go see a therapist. But again, I'm just giving you some relationship coaching tips here. Today, we're going to talk about how to deal with loneliness and also be in a good headspace to attract the love of your life. And so, I'm going to start off with some interesting statistics. And this is the part where I can kind of geek out because I was a sociology undergrad before I got my master's in counseling psychology. So, Gen Z, those were the ones who were born between 1995 to 2015. They report a loneliness rate of 60%. Millennials, those are the ones who were born between 1981 to 1994. They report a loneliness rate of 57%. Gen X, those born between 1965 to 1980, 31%. Baby boomers, they were born between 1946 to 1964, a loneliness rate of 19%. So, according to Cigna, the insurance, they did a research on it. They were saying that loneliness is an epidemic. The boomer generation said that 85% of them feel like they belong to a group of friends. Now, Gen Z, slightly less than 70% of them actually feel like they belong to a group of friends. So, one of the things that people will say is, oh, it's because of social media. It's more than that. It's not just social media usage. That will not predict loneliness. It's the amount of an in-person interaction, physical and mental wellness, life balance, work-life balance, that's more likely to predict loneliness. So here's the difference. Gen X, they know how to make people, or they know how to make friends in person. Whereas Gen Z, all they know is how to connect digitally. That's their method of connection. And so it throws them off. So people like boomers and Gen X, they can get on social media, but then they can go hang out with their friends and they're having that in-person contact. How it affects dating, these are some things that are kind of interesting too. Gen X, they used to have calling cards in college when they had a call long distance. They shared a phone with their roommates at the college dorm or their college apartment. No one had their own cell phones quite yet. And it was rude later on if a guy were to text you and ask you out on a date. It's like, oh my gosh, he can't even call me. How rude. Now, Gen Z, they're going to say the opposite. They'll be like, why aren't you texting me? Why are you calling me? They'll feel like it's really invasive. So you see this divide in the generations. So, side note, if you like listening to books on audio, a really fascinating read, it's a long one, but you don't have to read it all in one fell swoop. It's a book called Generations, and it's by Dr. Jean Twenge, and she is a professor at San Diego State University. So it'll be interesting to see why our society has shifted so much based on all of the different generations. Okay, here's what ABC News said. People who are lonely have more physical and mental health problems than those who feel connected to others. And here are 4 ways how loneliness can affect your health. 1, you're less likely to take care of yourself. 2, you're more susceptible to heart disease. 3, you're more likely to feel down in the dumps. I need to put that on silent. 4, you could have a weaker immune system. So are we feeling awesome yet? Talking about loneliness? Okay, first of all, I want you to know what and understand what loneliness is. Just because you live alone or you are alone doesn't mean you're feeling lonely. So this is what Dr. Hafiz says from Columbia University. She said there's a difference between solitude and loneliness. both mean a person is alone. However, the mindset is different. Solitude is rooted in choice and peace. When someone revels in their solitude, they appreciate their connection to themselves first. Here is the remedy to loneliness, and it's two parts, not just one. Purpose and connection. You got to have both. Okay. So if you develop hobbies, pursue an activity that you enjoy. Join clubs, classes. They help you find and meet like-minded people because that makes a difference. That gives you purpose and connection as well. So I had the fallacy before I was married that I wouldn't feel lonely. Well, I was completely baffled. When we got married, we had a son with special needs who's immunocompromised. And my husband, he works long hours when he's in tech season. And I couldn't like take my kid places because we were so worried about him getting sick. So I would be home alone with him at night. And I was like, oh my gosh, what can I do? This is hard. We can't have people over who are slightly feeling sick. I can't just go out and do some book club, it was tough. So yeah, the romantic part of me felt connected, but everything else socially, not so much. And so one of the hobbies I ended up developing was learning how to make cakes and decorate them. And I would give cakes to people in the neighborhood, like slices, and say, hey, just thinking of you. So there was purpose because I developed a hobby, and then I made connection by being able to drop off things. And just, this was during cold and flu season, like, hey, I'm alive, I'm thinking about you. And surprisingly, it developed into a cake business. So I used to do a custom cake business on the side until it got too crazy with my kids wanting to sample everything. So yeah, develop a hobby that you're interested in because that can be very fulfilling for you. Volunteering is huge. It's a great way to meet new people while making a positive impact on your community. If you live local in Utah, if you call 211, they will give you resources on how you can volunteer. I can guarantee if you Google volunteering opportunities near me, something will pop up. But there's just something about volunteering and forgetting about yourself and making that connection that can really help remedy loneliness. The next thing, third thing, is to socialize, which I imagine most of you are pretty good at. If you probably wouldn't be here if you didn't know somebody on social media. So if you attend social events, gatherings, or parties, make an effort to connect with people. One thing I'm going to share with you is if you go to a singles event, are you going with the purpose to only meet the love of your life and nothing else? Because what if you don't? Was that an epic fail? Are you going with the intention of, I feel like a reject, a loser, and everyone else feels like losers here? People are going to feel that energy. So what if you go to an event and say, you know what? I'm going to learn 3 people's names and I'm going to learn something about them. If I meet the love of my life, bonus. I'll be ecstatic too, or find someone cool to date. Awesome. But again, it's a matter of being intentional and finding purpose and connection because again, you can't guarantee the outcome, whether or not you're going to find Mr. Right. So a lot of people, especially to be in a good headspace, is people will meet their significant others through friends or even friends of friends. And so it's important just to build your network and support system because you just don't know where it's going to lead. I had one other thing I was going to share, and well, I guess it wasn't that important. So anyway, if that was helpful to you, book a consultation call with me. You can just direct message me. And also just a reminder, if you want to learn more about the Get Legit program, the cyber sale ends this Friday, the 50% off. And so again, If you book the call by Friday, but the call is not till next week, you'll still get the 50% off. So you can just direct message me for more information. Otherwise, if this resonated with you, I hope you have a wonderful afternoon, evening, whatever time it is for you. We'll see you later. Bye.